All right, so we want to know how to find or determine when to use Pythagorean theorem versus sine, cosine, and tangent. So I've got three triangles here. We're going to discuss when to use what. If you look at this first triangle, I notice that there's an angle, and that angle is 68. Well, from previous classes, we know that if there's an angle, we can write theta. Theta is always used to represent an angle. So there's my theta. Once I know what that is, I can label the hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent. So my hypotenuse is x, and my opposite is 8, and my adjacent is this blank side down here. Since I'm using, or I know, the opposite side and the hypotenuse, this leads me to sine theta equals O over H. So if we know there's an angle in a triangle, we know there's going to be a theta. If we know there's going to be a theta, we know we can use sine, cosine, and tangent because on our formula sheet, each of those has a theta. So if your triangle's got an angle, we're going to use trig. If you look at the second triangle over here, you'll notice that we have a 20, an 8, and an x, but you'll also notice that there's no angles inside that triangle. We know there's a 90 degrees, and that 90 degrees is helpful to tell us where our hypotenuse is. But other than that, we don't know anything about this triangle except that it's got three sides. So we could think of it as a C, an A, and a B, and use Pythagorean theorem to find x squared. So when we have no angles, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. Let's look at this third triangle at the bottom. It has three sides, but it also has an x inside an angle. If there's any angle at all, an x, a 68, some other number, we know that that's going to be theta. And we can label our triangle opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent. Again, if there's an angle, we're going to use trig.